Hello, everyone, and welcome to week 4. This week's topic is motivation of employees and some other personnel type things such as accountability and maximizing performance. The book actually has some great resources in there and some good information about the purpose of motivation and the way to measure performance and how to use metrics to guide performance targets in future. But one of the things that I wanted to touch on is actually how to individualize motivation based upon the person or persons that you're trying to lead. One thing that's not made very clear in the book, and so that's why I wanted to do this separate video, is that you can't expect your leadership style to be appealing to everybody. Just as like we all learn differently, we have people who learn using tactile senses, so touching or doing. You have people that learn better by reading, by hearing, by seeing, etc. We're all motivated by different things as well. We tend to base that motivation and what we allow to motivate us on what we value as a person. So a person who is motivated highly by financial resources such as higher paying jobs or other fringe benefits may not have the same core value set as somebody who's motivated more by individual praise or by seeing a difference that they're making in their community. So that's why we talk about value congruence and making sure that an individual's values are congruent with the organization's. It makes it much easier to use a blanket style motivational technique for employees. However, even in those cases where everybody's values are congruent, you're still going to have to motivate individually in times. And so one of the things I want to talk about is how to do exactly that. Some considerations to think about. On your suggested reading list, I have an article that I wrote for the FBI Law Enforcement Bulletin a couple years ago. It has about a half-page section on exactly this. And one of the big things that I focus on in that article is how to use generational tiering and other discriminating factors between sets of people, and researching that and learning what makes them tick, what makes them want to perform better. A good example that I use in that paper is generational gaps in agencies. So you have older law enforcement officers who have been on the job for 20 or 30 years, are motivated by stability and security. They don't want to feel like they're going to lose their seniority by moving to a new shift or a new assignment or something like that, especially if it's without their consent or it seems arbitrary to them. Now, we all understand that that is sometimes necessary to move people to make the organization more efficient or whatever, to meet a need that's outside of your control. And so it's all important how you deal with that and how you communicate that with the individual. So that communication can sort of make up for some of that decrease in motivation. On the other side of that coin, younger officers who are in their first 5 years of employment typically are motivated more by special assignments or the ability to specialize and get new training and to expand their skill set. Maybe go to conferences here, there, and wherever. So they are looking more for the ability to make themselves more useful or more valuable in future. So you have to understand that generation is just one of the characteristics. You also have people who have previous military backgrounds that are motivated differently than people who never have. And so there are any number of characteristics, and it's up to you as a good leader to root out what motivates each person and not rely on a blanket motivational technique for everybody. Now, there are certain things that motivate everybody, such as financial security, but in agencies where additional financial compensation isn't possible, we have to find other ways to do that. And we can do that through means like volunteer organizations, the same tactics they use. So if you think about the Boy Scouts or Boys and Girls Club or Habitat for Humanity or any of these agencies that rely on volunteers, they're not paying their workers. So how do they keep getting them to come back and come back and come back? And when we start to examine the ways that these volunteer organizations motivate their people, it has great applicability inside of public service, law enforcement in particular, but can be expanded to pretty much any public organization. So that's what I want you guys to focus on as you're reading this week. Check out that article, see if any of the examples fit your organization, and good luck this week.